Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to How to Script Lesson 2, which will be ifs and loops. Alright, here we go. Alright, so we're gonna start by going back to where we were, except this time a little differently. Now, to use an if, we're going to start with ifs. If is kind of like, if this happened, let's try this. So this is kind of like answering things as a yes or no, or an okay, or other different ways of using ifs. There's many ways to use ifs, but we're going to use an example of ifs in a message box. So we're going to start off with if message box, okay? So we got if message box. We don't use an equal sign, because if you remember from the last lesson, if we use the equal sign, we basically would make if message box a variable, and there would be no other command, so it would be a variable with a message. Basically, we'd have to connect it to something, and it's not connected to anything. It's just pointless. It won't do anything. So there's no equal sign. So we got our bracket and our quotation, which I found out is not called a string. Sorry, it is called a quotation. Okay, so we go if message box. Alright, so we got click. Oops, sorry. Click yes or no. Okay, click yes or no. Okay, now we're gonna do a little something called VB yes or no. So it's so basically, yeah, right here, VB yes no. Okay, we're gonna go with plus 16, which if you remember is the critical symbol. Okay, now we're gonna have choose one. Okay, so we have our little message box now. A message box will appear because of the message box thing. Like if we just did a message box without a variable, there would be a message box appearing. But you use variables for connections and stuff, and I'll show you that more later as we go on with tutorials. But let's continue with ifs. So we go if message box. So we're saying if this message box, now we gotta tell it what to do if it happens. Okay, so we're gonna go equals VB yes. So that means if the message box and they click yes, then, alright, so then what we're gonna do now is, remember this, you don't use a variable. Now we're, after you do a sorry, I erased the then. After you do a then, just remember the little tip that you do a sub message like this. Just a normal message box, no variables, no button commands, and no titles. And if you remember that, you'll be fine. So message box, you clicked yes. Alright, there we go. You clicked yes. Now, once we got if message box, you click yes or no. The buttons are yes and no with the critical symbol. Choose one. VB, if they click yes, then a message box will appear saying you clicked yes. Otherwise, and to say that, you say else. Another message box will appear saying you clicked no. Now if you don't understand anything I said, you can go back and check it out. It won't be too hard, but always remember this is after you're done, you gotta end if. You gotta end the if. So don't forget to save it. I recommend saving it on your desktop as, let's do hello, no, choose one dot VBS. There, okay. So now if we go down, there it is right there. Choose one dot VBS. We run it. Message box will appear with the critical. Click yes or no. You click yes, a box will appear saying you clicked yes. End the if. You click no, you click no. We open the script, and that's it. And that's ifs. Okay, so now we're gonna do loops. Now, if you want to do loops, this is the simple tutorial for loops, alright? To start a loop, you start with do, and below the end you're gonna do it with, you end it with loop. There. Now, if you click no, the message box will not go away, because you have put it in a loop, and then end the if. So you put it above where you want it to be, and then below where you want it to be. And there, it'll loop that. Like if I wanted to, I could do and loop this whole thing so that it like keeps going back over. So, okay, let's do that as an example. Do loop. Alright. Save it. Okay, we run it, and if we click no, that box isn't going to go away, no matter how many times I click yes. I mean no, or the OK button. Now what you gotta do to get rid of it is go to your task manager and disable it, but my task manager is disabled for some reason, so we're just gonna end it with that. That is today's script lesson. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Stick around for more tutorials, and thanks for